Hey there guys, it's Lee here, welcome to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be following up from where we left off in our 7950 Ethereum mining rig build. So in that last section we run into a few difficulties with the actual build itself. One of the 7950s that arrived was an XFX. The first one that arrived, that was perfect, no problems at all. The second one that arrived was a Asus Direct CU version of the 7950, and unfortunately that one arrived damaged. We tried to straighten out the chassis and get it running, but in the end it just did not work. So that had to be returned to CEX. There was no problem returning it. We got a full refund on that, no problems at all in that department. So where we are now is I was looking to purchase a replacement 7950 to compensate for the one that we had to return, and then I look back on CEX. They had the same sort of available offers, but the problem with CEX is that you don't get a choice in the actual manufacturer of the card. So you order just a 7950 and whatever turns up turns up. Really I was looking for another XFX card, because they're the ones that I've had really good results with, and haven't had any problems with them in the past, so they're good for that factor, and overall reliability is good. However, so that basically ruled out the CEX option. So then I started looking on eBay to find a seller that was selling a 7950 on there. There's a few sellers on there, but it wasn't really, the prices were a bit of a premium over the CEX price. Really I was looking to spend no more than £100, and they was going for a little bit more on eBay, and I didn't really want to pay the premium for those prices. There was also lots of sellers that was not providing sort of any warranty, selling untested, no returns and all that sort of stuff, so I didn't really want to go down that avenue. But what I did find is that an opportunity, sort of, so to speak. Whilst I was looking for the 7950s as one of the related categories or things that you might be interested in, kind of popped up, and it was a much better card. So, and also at the same money as well. So what I'm going to do now is that actual graphics card has arrived, and what I will do is I'll just go for an unboxing and I'll share with you exactly what I managed to pick up and explain why I purchased it. Okay guys, so this is our package. It's packaged much better than the last one. It's got a good load of bubble wrap, and it's also boxed from the actual supplier itself from eBay. There's a piece missing here, that's just where I cut the address out. So let's go ahead and get this opened up. Okay guys, so this is what we've gone for. Hopefully you can see that in the frame there. It is a Gigabyte R9 280X. So this is what I decided to go for. I managed to pick it up for £100 off eBay, and one of the primary reasons why I actually purchased that was because I already had one, so I knew what the performance was like, and I thought it'd be a great complement to that system. So what I'm going to be doing, instead of building a twin 7950 rig, I decided that I'm going to be building a twin 280X rig. So like I say, I got that for £100, and it's boxed and it should be in a really good condition. It looked good from the actual seller's listing, so I'm going to open it up and we'll take a look at the card itself. Okay, so that's the actual card itself. So it's a Gigabyte WinForce 3 280X. It's got their triple fan design, so they run really well, pretty cool and quiet, so that's great. What I'm just going to have a look at is on the back side. Hopefully that picks up in the light. The seller did actually mention there's some slight, he said he had it in storage for quite some time, and then over time there was a little bit of corrosion along this back plate. I can see a little bit here. Yeah, there is a little bit of corrosion there. Looks like possibly the card may have got damp or something. The seller did say that he stored them in a dry sealed place, but not too sure. So there's a little bit on there, but the seller also did provide it with a warranty and said if you get any problems at all, then just send it back, and then we have to cover. So I can also see there's some other not so good on the edge there. Not sure how that comes through on the camera lens. Once again, a little bit of a, looks like corrosion. Looks like it's, yeah, possibly a little bit of moisture has got in there in the bag. I don't know. So anyway, okay, so this is the machine that we're going to be working on, and it's the one that you might have seen in my previous videos. So you can see already it has a 280X already installed in there, kind of the same one as we've just actually purchased. I think there's a slight revision difference between the two of them, but essentially it's the same card. So what I'm going to be doing is just straight swapping one for the other, which is really quite ideal and convenient actually, because it just means I can swap it, test it, make sure it's all good, and then we will use that as a basis going forwards for building the actual complete machine. Okay, so we've just completed the installation of the graphics card. I've just plugged in a power cable, keyboard and the monitor. So I'm just going to give it a first time power up now, and it's connected to the monitor just behind the computer. You won't see it in frame, but I'll pan over to it or move over to it. Not too sure what the technical term is. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on, and we want anything but blue smoke. Okay, so the card seems to have fired up okay. Just see if we've got anything. It looks like the monitor's just initializing. Okay, so far it looks good. I'll just proceed with the actual login to Windows. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a quick run now with the Ethereum miner and see how it goes. Okay, so I've left it running for a few minutes now, and it seems to be working just fine. The GPU temperature is just below 70 degrees. You might be able to see that on the right hand side. The fan is at 82, just come on, and the stock clocks are there. It seems to be hashing away really nicely, no signs of any sort of issues at all, so I think we're going to be good to proceed. So that's what I will do. Okay, so this is the actual setup as it is with the single 280X there. What I intend to do is put a secondary 280X in there as well. It's going to be pretty tight, not ideal, but I think we'll be able to do it okay. The power supply itself, this one is currently a 500 watt. We'll need to swap that out. I already have one that I can use for that. What I might also do as well is these hard drives are used for burst coin. They're all pretty small, except for one, so what I'll do is I'll probably remove 2 or 3 of those as well, and that will just help with the airflow through the machine. In terms of cooling, we've got a 120mm fan at the back, and what I might probably do is put one, there's a space on the front as well, so I'll probably put a 120mm on the front and get some airflow through there. There's also, this case is actually pretty cool. It's a Cooler Master case. I can't remember the model, but there's also a grill section at the bottom. That's at the moment it's just using for a cluster of serial ATA cables, but I might change that around. The replacement power supply is also modular, so you might be able to do something with the cables and keep everything hopefully a bit tidier, and that should help with the airflow. That'll be the primary concern, is just the heat sort of issues. Okay, so I've just removed the old power supply from the chassis itself, and it's cleaned up a little bit of space in there. The power supply that I'm going to be fitting in there is this Corsair RM850. It's a fully modular power supply, and it's also got really good efficiency as well. So that's going to be the unit that's going to be going in there, and that will give us plenty of power for the cards and everything that we need. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm just going to go through in my own time. What I shall probably do is like a time-lapse video, and I'll just proceed to fit in each of the parts until it's completed. Okay guys, so I've just spent about half hour, 45 minutes getting everything swapped over and installed. Everything went fine, no problems at all, so I'll just give you a look at it now. Okay, so you can see the desk is a bit busy. These are the hard drives that I removed just for they had like multiple installations of software, burst coin plots on those, but these are just two 50 gig hard drives, so I'm quite happy to take those out. So the machine, I've just obviously plugged in the keyboard and mouse just for a bit of system testing. So looking at it from this angle, so we've got the RM850 in there. Obviously the actual wiring loom, I've tried to make it reasonably tidy, but I didn't actually have any cable ties, so I've just used these little wire ties. They're not the best, but they're okay. And the cables are kind of okay. One thing I will say with these Corsair power supplies, or this particular one, I'm not too sure if the same applies to later generations, but these cables are actually really difficult to work with. They're obviously a good quality cable, but they're really stiff and they don't bend very well, so you can't really kind of get them how you want. They tend to take their own kind of shape, so that's a little bit tricky to work with. The actual GPUs are both in there. There's about a 1-inch gap between the two of them. So it is a little bit cramped, but removing those other hard drives, I'm just left with two hard drives in there. One's a system hard drive and one's a 4 terabyte burstcoin hard drive. It's actually a Seagate, but I'm using it for burstcoin. CPU as it was, cooler as it was. I'll probably add a additional cooler in this front. Yeah, seeing as the bottom is kind of pretty clogged up with cables and whatnot. So I'll give it a power up now and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to fire it up yet again and see how we go this time. Ooh, just a fan there. Display's initialised, so I know where I'm going this time in the BIOS, so that should at least be useful. So the boot order that we want. I believe it is this one with the serial, the Seagate drives. They've all got similar names. It's difficult to remember which is. Hang on, let me just double check that before I go. Yeah, the 12AS. I think that should be good. Yeah, that looks better. Sorry about the display quality, just trying to get a little bit better view for you. Did I already click on that? Need to open up the file location. We'll just copy and paste the new config because it might take a little bit to jig. So I think I can do OpenCL device 1 and actually let's see what the devices are listed as. Did I create a... I think this is the command for listing devices, so let's just try it. It is, but we need to add a pause at the end of the batch file. Okay, so we've got Tahiti 0 and the other Tahiti, so they're both our graphics cards, is number 2. So 0 and 2, they're the devices that we want to run. I can close it out. I think I do 0 and then space 2. I'm not 100% sure, I'll try it. Okay, let's No, it has no space. Buffer 0, buffer for 1. I think it might start going. Just minimise that. No, it seems to be only on the first card. Okay, I'm going to have to tinker with this, leave it with me. Okay guys, I got it. I just had to change the config file there. So it was eth-g and it had to be OpenCL-devices, not device 0 space 2. So just in case you run into that. It was actually in the help file once you wait for it. Okay, so there we go. That's running. About 40-ish. Obviously we're just on the standard clocks and everything, so that looks like it's running quite nicely. You can see the temperatures picking up there. We're at 67 and 62. Okay, so just temporarily I've gone with a office kind of a tower fan. I've just positioned it temporarily just to get some air into the actual machine itself, and it's certainly running a lot cooler. We're about 75 degrees on each of the cards now, so that's generally a lot better for us, and that will do temporarily. Okay guys, so let's bring this video to a conclusion. So this started off as a budget 7950 Ethereum rig build. I intended on putting together two 7950s that were purchased second hand, putting those together with some existing equipment and building a budget Ethereum rig that would hopefully produce a return on the small investment that we put into it. As it turned out, things didn't exactly go according to plan. We ended up with a good XFX 7950, but then the second 7950, which is the Asus Direct CU one, that arrived damaged unfortunately from CEX. What I did do was send that back. I got a full refund from that, so that's case closed on that subject. From there, I was looking to purchase a secondary 7950, but I couldn't really find exactly what I wanted. As it turned out, I managed to pick up a 280X, so an R9 280X, which is a next card up. It's more like a 7970 in terms of performance and as a comparison basis. So, but it was also at a good price, so I got that for £100. And then because I also had a practically exactly the same card already, I thought that would be great. Those two will go well together. So I ended up building a twin 280X Ethereum rig. So what that means is that machine is going to run hotter, it's going to use more power, but the performance will be slightly higher. So in the end, we kind of got to where I wanted to be. It didn't quite work out exactly as I planned, but we got there in the end. That after the initial installation of the two cards together, I run it over the actual rig. I run it overnight with the side case off, and just like an office cooling tower type fan up against it, and that kept the cards running at about 75 degrees. When I tested it with the actual side panel on, I'll actually show you now, just because I've got this other screen behind me. So if I just fire up the ETH miner now, so it's going to fire up both of those cards together, you will see the temperature on the right hand side starts picking up immediately. And then this card number 1, which is actually the new arrival of the two cards, the one that you would see the unboxing of, and that's getting really hot, and it's because it kind of it's got no fresh air going to it. All it's getting is the previously heated air from the card in front of it. So that's why that card is getting a lot hotter in comparison. Also the fan design is slightly different, so that might have an effect as well, possibly. So those cards with the case on, they basically cannot be run together, but what I have done is I've ordered 4 120mm high performance fans, and they should be here next week, and then once they arrive, so obviously I'll fit those to the case, and then that should mean I can possibly run hopefully the case actually closed, and a reasonable sort of volume. I don't want too much noise coming from the thing, because it is in a workspace and I don't want to be working alongside a crazy noise making machine. The other thing I could do as well is probably flip the case on its side and have the heat more coming out of it. So if I flip on the side, then that way what you will see is when I was actually sort of building it, that same sort of orientation, so the heat comes more directly up rather than, you know, one on top of the other card. So what I've said is that both cards will be kind of this way instead of, you know, sideways, so the heat should come out the case. Yeah, I think that explains better with my hands rather than just speech. So I think that's it for this video, guys. I kind of crammed a lot in there. There has been a few complications and hiccups along the way. I've tried to bundle everything in and kind of share with you all different aspects of it. But I'd really appreciate any feedback from you guys. Let me know which parts you liked, which parts you didn't. You know, good, bad, ugly. Let me know, and I'll take that information on board and try to provide better videos as we go onwards and forwards. One of the other things I would say as well is that the actual video duration has ended up being much longer than I originally anticipated. So I know people's attention spans are pretty small, so I'll try and condense that in the future and just have more of like a highlights, even if it is a full build or something to that nature, where there's quite a lot of different aspects to it. I'll probably just do like a few highlights rather than trying to time lapse, half hour in one section. I'm not even too sure how that's going to come out. Because I'm recording this section after the fact. It's another day on as well. So that's it. I just want to say thanks again for watching. I appreciate all your support, and till next time, take care.